My 28 male girlfriend, 27 female, was absolutely convinced I cheated on her and broke up with me, and said some nasty things. She only just found out that I didn't. How do we heal from this major rift in our relationship? I'm not even entirely going to go into the details here. It was a distant, blurry video from a nightclub that my girlfriend's friend sent to her of a guy who looked very similar to me, making out with another girl. It looked exactly like me from that view. Even if it was maybe 5 seconds of footage, I would think that was me too, if I didn't know better. And when my girlfriend confronted me, all of the "I swear that's not me" just looked like a bad trope of a guy denying something obvious. Anyways, the way I ended up proving it to her was that I had to ask my girlfriend's friend where she found the video. Instagram, which resulted in her also being mad at me for even asking. But she told me regardless. The day it was posted was October 19th, when me and my girlfriend were together the whole night. I also pointed out that the guy's shoes were not mine, and that she knows I only wear 2 pairs of shoes. And the most damning evidence was that the club it was at all the way in Westchester. We live in South Jersey. Here's the thing. It took her more than a whole day to respond to that. I know she saw it. I provided all the evidence possible that the guy wasn't me, and it still took about a day and a half for her to even respond. But that isn't even the worst part. The night she confronted me was horrible. We've been dating for nearly 4 years and she's never said this stuff to me. She said I was a weak person who was insecure about his life, so I secretly go out to find other girls. She said that I was always going to be jealous of my brother who is more successful than me and gets girls and all that, and that me going out to that club was just me trying to imitate him. She said I never cared about her, and that I clearly don't love her at all, and that I will always put myself above her. She accused me of lying about being sad just so that she never suspects anything, when clearly I've been having a blast going to clubs and sleeping with girls. She was absolutely furious, and the entire time I kept thinking just turtle up and try not to respond emotionally. Wait until you can prove her that the cheating isn't real, but the accusations just kept coming. I ended up crying and leaving when she finally responded to my evidence about the cheating. She sent this entire paragraph to me saying she had spent the last few days thinking about how her life was going to be without me, and that she has been trying to erase all love of me from her brain by thinking about every little way I have ever hurt her, even a tiny bit, to try to make it easier to leave me. She said she felt horrible about what she said, and that she wants to make up for it, and she is sorry about everything. And so we got back together that day, except it was incredibly awkward and tense, and it has sort of remained tense. I mean, in our 4-year relationship, we don't typically fight. It's been an amazing relationship overall, and so for this to feel so uncomfortable, it just feels wrong. I feel like when she found out I was cheating, she just unleashed everything onto me that she didn't really want me to know beforehand. I don't think either of us fully know what to do. I keep thinking of how she just looked at me with absolute disgust, like real hatred in her eyes, and it just hurts me so bad to think she felt that hatred for so many days. How do we recover? Obviously, couples therapy is going to be recommended, but besides that, I am not even sure if she would agree to couples therapy, honestly. We can't really afford therapy like that. Too long didn't read. Girlfriend thought I was cheating, broke up with me, said a lot of nasty things about me. I showed her that I wasn't cheating, and our relationship's been very weird and uncomfortable ever since. Hey guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out. Thanks. I think this is a huge wake-up call for your relationship. Beyond the false cheating, this is not the solid relationship you thought you had. She has obviously been holding back resentments for a long time, and it took this to reveal it all. It's kind of like she feels that she puts up with all your flaws, and after all the sacrifices she's made, you had the nerve to cheat on her. I would ask her what she actually likes about you. There is no way to carpet sweep all that she has said. The anger just gave her the freedom to say what she has really been feeling. If you want to continue this relationship, I think couples counseling is a must. You'd have to get way better at communication. Personally, I would probably bail because right now it feels like she is settling for you and she kind of has a thing for your brother. My 24 female boyfriend, 29, repeatedly sexts other women online. Now I'm thinking about bailing out on the house we're supposed to close on next week. Edit. So this ended up really long and I apologize. For those of you skimming, by the end of writing this all out, it was really clear to me and I decided to cut my losses and run home to my mom. According to him, this account was made to provoke me into confronting him if I were upset because he feels like I talked to my sister and our friends but not him. He's not entirely wrong, but this is still a bad thing to do and I'm not putting up with it. Edit 2. Thank you to everyone who explained the legality of the house ownership, but I already knew this. I didn't want to be on anything because I was worried about getting trapped. I was a part of every decision along the way. This was a choice we made together, not me just trailing along. I also think this is way beside the most important issues here. This is a mess, and I know it. I'll try to lay it all out there as simply as possible. Using his secret account as a throwaway. We've been dating for a little over a year. Things have been rocky, but so good when they're good. Neither of us have ever connected with another person like this before. When we started off, it was supposed to be a hookup situation, and I was aware he was sleeping with someone else. We'd shared our curiosities about non-monogamy, and I was also doing my own thing, until he and I were spending several nights a week together for a few months, and I knew it was a little more than that. Then I was finally like, hey, we're dating. I'm not dancing around it anymore. You treat me like your girlfriend. Call me that. About 2 weeks later he comes to my house and then casually brings up. So I was working under the assumption that it was still cool if my friend and I hooked up. I had already figured out who it was by accident. Just plain observation, intuition, and logic. But I was extremely hurt by this. I was almost expecting the topic to come up before this, but asking permission, not forgiveness. This is a whole different beast. But she was very rude to me at her place of employment, when I was, to her knowledge, still in the dark about who she was. If I ever got to the point where I was comfortable opening our relationship, I would never be okay with him hooking up with her, due to the pure disrespect and disregard to me and my feelings. I ended up forgiving him. I told myself the lines were kinda blurred, and I could have communicated better myself. Fine, we'll try again. I'll believe you wouldn't do this to me on purpose. You know better now. I know. Hindsight is 20/20. Months go by and I'm an anxious mess. He gets distant around his birthday. I write it up to that. He finally snaps out of it weeks later, and I feel like I've truly fallen in love. Like I met the real him for the first time. He's great, takes care of me, is attentive. Mentally I've crumbled. I can't get over the fact that he lied to me straight to my face in the beginning of our relationship. I realize exactly how wrong he knew he was, and that he did it anyway. I finally work myself up. We have a long, huge loud discussion. He assures me nothing has happened behind my back. We start to move past it. But he's weird about his Snapchat. Tries not to let me see his inbox. It took me a long time to notice, even longer to be sure that it wasn't just my head. So one time when he goes to the bathroom, I check his phone. I know, I don't like that I've become this person. I've done it one other time before him, and I was right that time too. I didn't find anything particularly incriminating, but a lot of girls on Snap, and some pictures I couldn't determine the origin of. Whatever, recorded romance is not a problem to me at all. Although the woman I mentioned earlier had the somewhat recently changed nickname of Cheesecake, take that however you want. I find it sketchy, so I waited a few days, and happened to be at his house while he was showering. I checked again, and found he had sent pictures to a girl in chat, and was trying to romantic text with her. I confronted him once he got back. It's worth mentioning I tried a little to get him to admit to it himself, but I had to literally tell him what I found and then he apologized. He had to leave for work, but he erased it from his phone, and told me it was just like recorded romance to him, and he didn't want to hurt me and he wanted to be better for me. I give in again. After a few days, fine, but I will not put up with anything else. He says he understands, and there is nothing else. I say no more secrets, because that's lying too, and he promises me. I try every day to trust him more, to believe he is honest, to believe that my feelings matter to him even when I'm not around. I told him I would, if he would be someone who deserved my forgiveness and trust. He said he would. I did my best to allow him his privacy, but every so often I'd take a peek just to settle my anxieties down a bit, because I wasn't finding anything. I feel good about it. I'm finding myself coming back to the relationship. We decided to move in together. My living situation sucks, and he wants to buy a house by the time he's 30, and a really cute house goes up for sale down the street from my sister. So we go for it. The second time we are supposed to see this house, I'm waiting for him to shower and I notice his old cell phone that he had told me towards the beginning of his relationship he used specifically for watching recorded romance. I was blatantly weirded out by it, but decided not to make a huge stink out of it at the time. But now I can't help it. Same lock code as his current phone. I confront him, and he says he set it up on purpose to see if I was still going through his things. He points out that the messages were to bots, but I didn't get a chance to look at even half of the stuff that was on this phone. He throws the phone away anyway, and had me throw it into the outside trash myself so I'd know it was done. I told him I'd let him have his privacy, that I'd do better, and give him the benefit of the doubt. So continues the optimistic trying to not be crazy. I realized through an article that I have betrayed CDDDDDDDDDDD but I'm still trying to work through the obsession with trying to catch lies around me so that I feel just a little less of an idiot. But things have been a little off lately, and I want to blame it on stress for the most part. This is huge for both of us, but I have T-checked so long that a part of me is bouncing around inside me needing to look. So I finally get the chance, and I stumble upon this Reddit account. Same email as his regular one. I know because I changed the password. And a few suggestive chats to Reddit users active in Adivce subreddits. I don't think I can move in with someone that gets off on keeping secrets from me. I've never been one to put up with bullpoop, and I feel like I've given him more than enough chances. I was getting really excited. I told my friends, family, coworkers, we're supposed to close next week, but I don't know if I can go through with this. He did everything for the house in his name, but I am supposed to contribute to half the mortgage payment and bills. I think I might just move back home with my mom to save up more money and work on getting back the pieces of me that I left in the beginning of our relationship. I'm struggling a bit with the idea of explaining to everyone that I'm suddenly moving back home and not to the new house. But the more I think about it, the more confident I am that the truth speaks more to me being dedicated to doing what's right for me than me being stupid. Stupid would be moving in with a guy who can't be honest with me, or, I don't know, lying to the best thing to ever happen to you a week before you buy a house down the street from her sister. I suppose advice is welcome, though I think most of this was just to get it off my chest. I know that my going through his phone is a big debate. I agree, I think it's a generally not good thing to do. However, I'd be a lot more apologetic if it didn't keep proving me right about things I'd like to be wrong about. Invading privacy is wrong. Gaining access to information that you deserve to have and will allow you to change your situation for the better, can't be sorry about it. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend is incapable of respecting my wishes or being honest with me. So I'm going to bail on the house he's closing on next. Don't buy a house with him, especially since it's only in his name. That will be a terrible mistake. Most people have had breakups, so don't feel badly telling others. You're smart to get out now.